Hello. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you. Wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this, welcome to my fifth degree page. Well, my Lightwork page. I'm fifth degree, but you can call me fifth. Okay, y'all. So, I'm hoping everybody's doing okay. I know it's a lot of stuff going on out in the atmosphere. I'm gonna go ahead and do this reading real quick. See what we got going on. I know currently we are in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury getting her braids and stuff done, right? We are also dealing with Jupiter retrograde. That's something else that we kind of got going on in the shadow, as well as, and I want to say we're coming to a close with Saturn retrograde. So just paying attention to those varying aspects. I'm hoping everybody's doing okay. Uh, try and get these readings or this information out real quick. I just got back from a walk, y'all. I feel so much better. I really, really do. Um, but yeah, so there's that. Outside of that, though, let's see what else we got going on. With the planets, now, the irony that's coming into place with all of this, the reason why everything does feel so compacted, right, is because of the planetary alignment, right? All of the parade of the planets hasn't stopped yet, right? So you get what? Imagine if you have like 7 or 8 balls, right? And you walk, and they're all in a straight line, and you spin. It's like the first ball you don't, it's already spinning one way, and then the second ball you spin it in the opposite way, and then the third ball you spin it the same way as that ball that you just had. Then that fourth ball you spin in the opposite way of that ball, and then you spin that fifth ball in the opposite way, in the same way that ball goes. I'm hoping that I'm giving that visualization correctly, y'all. I really because ultimately that's what's going on out in the atmosphere, and uh, ultimately, right? That's what it is. That's what we're feeling in a lot of different placements in our uh, zodiac signs. If you're aware of that, one of the things that came to me is about Ophiuchus, right? I will be so very honest with you. I know about the traits and characteristics of Ophiuchus. I personally haven't uh, did any readings with Ophiuchus because people have so much difficulty with even understanding the actual meanings that come into place with the traditional 12 zodiac signs. So me trying to talk about that, I don't feel that is really relevant. That's going to be more so at the higher order thinking portion. Those people who know how to apply mastery levels. Yeah, that's more so a mastery level thing. If you haven't mastered the ability to see the higher vibration for each zodiac and being able to identify certain things, uh, in behaviors, I personally don't really, yeah, I don't suggest that you even deal with Ophiuchus. I personally, if you don't know anything about that, I don't think you should deal with magic at all. But who am I? That's just a personal opinion. I'm entitled to them just like everybody else. um, but yeah, so there's that portion. The other part of it would be, I've stated it before on one of my lives. I'll say it again. I don't post uh, my face and all this other stuff because I right now don't want to, and that is something that I'm allowed to do. If the person doesn't like it, that sounds personal. You'll be fine. I promise you, you will. I promise you will be okay. um, so it's that part. The other portion of it, yeah, because it was a few things. These are just a few things that was coming to me because clairaudient and all that other stuff. You just make sure you say what you need to in those regards. But um, There's that portion, but in addition to that, right, there's also, I would like for people to really focus on the information that's being presented, right? Because I know in my readings, a whole bunch of stuff come out in a lot of different areas. A lot of different areas, y'all. So, going into this reading, right, I would like to give the disclaimer once again. If you're watching for business, please understand. Um, if you're watching for business, major arcana such as like the Temperance card, the Death card, the Hierophant card, the Judgment card. I'm just gonna say, okay, so obviously those have some relevance, but you get what I'm saying. Like those cards, those are going to be dealing with people who are at the top of, for lack of a better phrase, in the food chain, right? When it comes to kings, queens, knights, and pages, right? Those will be like middle management and things of that nature. Could be indicative of actual people, but you should know where it fits, right? And if it don't fit, don't force it, just relax and let it go. Just 'cause that's how you want it doesn't mean it will be so. If it don't fit, don't force it. Right? So it's that part. The other portion. Trying to think what else. Oh, and like all of the number cards, all of those are going to be talking about different situations and circumstances that would come into place. All right. So that's for business. If you're watching for love, meaning romance, it would be indicative of like those same cards, right? Hierophant. What else I say? Hierophant, Judgment, Temperance, Death card, right? It's going to be talking about different places and different spaces. It may be talking about different relationships that would have come into place. One of the ways that I know business gets intermingled and tangled up with love and romance is because a lot of the verbiage is similar when you get to a certain to the interpersonal portion. Okay, so just being mindful of that, right? I personally do sun, moon, rising, and midheaven, right? I don't always do Venus unless it's specifically a love reading. In addition to that, within the love readings, I personally read Uranus for love over Mars for love. We are coming out of that Piscean era, right? Where it was a real big push for battling, right? Battling and fighting, and the only way you can prove you love somebody is if you fighting other people over them, and that's not how you prove you love somebody. I don't give a damn what you say. It shouldn't be a fight, right? Some people do better with it, with Venus and Mars. When I get to that portion, not today, but when I do those readings, then you are more than welcome to watch it for that. But that's not going to be the way I'm going to be reading it. All right. So it's that part. The other portion, with Uranus and Venus are more in alignment as far as axis and rotation for romance, love and romance, right? And especially in this Aquarian era, right? Over the Piscean era and us dealing with a Pluto's return, it's lucrative for Uranus, right? To be viewed because loving a person in the way that things are happening in today's time, it does constitute as a rebellion. It does constitute as episodes. It does constitute as extremely media functioned and media based, right? So there's that portion. Venus, however, does remain the same, right? Unless you're one of those people who would utilize Uranus or yeah, because what I'm getting from it is it's like some sort of strategy that must be going on with the Uranus Mars portion with trying to pull them two together. Maybe they're in conjunct. Maybe that's what that is. Mars and Uranus being in conjunct, which still wouldn't make very much sense because Mars is like the core of Venus, or not Venus. Mars is like it would only fit like the core of Uranus. Uranus is a really big planet, just like Venus is a really big planet. That Yeah, it's for so many reasons that I personally was like, you know what, this makes a little bit more sense. I don't care what the fuck they told me. Uranus makes a little bit more sense to match with Venus. I mean, look at the colors. Mars and Venus are kind of the same color. Mars and Uranus are two completely different colors. Yep, twin flame. It, even if you look at it for the twin flame shit, I mean, okay, I'm more than likely gonna be cussing y'all. But even if you're looking at it for all those variant aspects, right? And I personally have seen that a lot more. I personally, right, was able to complete a lot more cycles when I shifted my way of thinking from the Mars aspect to the Uranus aspect. Right? That's just me. That's just me. Um, so there's that. Uh, okay, I'm hearing something about somebody blocked somebody. Okay, that's good if you blocked them. I personally, I have a block list. Do you understand me? I have 388 people on my block list on Instagram. Do you hear me? And I unfollowed so many different people, and so much so to the point where I can't even go live on Instagram, y'all. I can't even go live on Instagram. Uh, because I don't have the following there anymore. The irony that comes into place with the following, because I think that's something else that needs to be identified right now, right? Even in regards to the whole following and follower situation, yeah, because I recall doing a lot of readings, even over on Instagram, and some people take it too far, can take it too far, for real. Uh, they feel like because they follow you on Instagram that they have a right to, approach you in a malicious manner. Excuse me. In real life, in 3D. In short, that the Matrix thing got some people fucked up. Fucked up. I could, yeah, I could talk about some past experiences that I've already navigated through. When I was over on Facebook, this is why social media, and when you're in social media, gives more of a Mars feel. Um, when it's supposed to give a Uranus feel to love and romance and business, it's supposed to give a Uranus feel. I think that was some of the programmers' intentions. However, within that being the intentions, they operated out of the mindset for Mars. So there's that. Um, let me see. But yeah, when I was over on Facebook, I had to get off Facebook, y'all, because I noticed that certain people started popping up in uninvited and unwelcomed essences were popping up in my 3D, right? So much so to where some of the employers that I had, even at that time, it made them feel that it was okay for them to address something that they would have stated that address or respond to something that I would have stated in social media to respond to it in 3D in real life. And it was one of those, you're responding to something and you don't even have context and you don't have uh her audacity be at an all-time high. Audacity do be at an all-time high. It do be at an all-time high when you're dealing with different employers and different people, and because they feel that they have certain rank and pull in 3D, right? They feel like it's okay for them to say and do whatever the hell they want to you. And it's one of those, yeah, the lies. I don't even say that that's the devil. A lot of people do like to say, oh, that's the devil. That is not the devil. Baby, that is a free will choice. Stop it. Just stop it. I have a different understanding of how it is people conduct themselves in 3D, and you'll be amazed. One of the things I do feel inclined to talk about, I talked about it before years ago. I will say I did erase a lot of my old readings, uh, primarily because of what it is that I just stated, right? the people didn't want me to make the money from the social media aspect. So yeah, they quote unquote charged me in regards to real life, right? And the issue that came into place with it, right? Um, with the social media aspect, my very first Facebook page, right? Yeah, I had like 20,000 people on that daggone Facebook page, and my Facebook page got hacked. I had reported that Facebook page hacked and everything, and I had even told them, look, I can't put my real name on, uh, because at the time I was in a domestic violence situation. And I informed Facebook that I was in a domestic violence situation, and it was for my safety that I had to handle it is that I had. And with me explaining that to them, whoever it was that that it was going through, that it was pretty much the attitude of I don't give a fuck, I want to know what your real name is, opposed to a person just having the conversation with me in 3D. Y'all played entirely too many social media games. That's gonna I heard say what you have to my hey Monty, that must be you. Hi. But ultimately but ultimately, I don't play them types of games. And people they do get finger heavy, so to speak. And they won't say a lot of the things it is that they really need to say in 3D to end a lot of the cycles it is that they will have. And sure, what I'm getting from this is a lot of the cycles you all have, you may not have had that many cycles to complete when you first would have started on this journey. That's okay. A lot of people may not have had a lot of cycles, but because they would have done some shit in social media, that's what would have been what would have fucked them up and would have created for them to have a whole lot more shit to do. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. It's kind of what I'm getting from that. I have been looking at the different readers that post and come across my timeline. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time and being like, you know what? This doesn't feel like spirit is telling me to do this, or this isn't the right time, because spirit ain't gonna tell you to act in confusion. Period. Uh, they're not gonna tell you to act in confusion. It's that part. The other portion of it is right. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Um, if you aren't providing me with a roof over my head, food in my stomach, shoes, and everything it is that I need, do not, I don't give a damn who you are. And finances, do not demand that I do readings. Don't light candles, because that's where a lot of y'all done got fucked up at. I'm already knowing. You lighting candles and shit, and you playing all these extra games, and then you want to try and summon me to come to all these different events. That realistically, everyone who truly knows me in 3D has already known that they had to do spell work on me to even get me to come to the events over the past few years. They had to do spell work to even get me to come out. And now that I'm impervious to the bullshit, they more than likely feel some type of way about it. I really don't care. I say I'm not going or I'm not doing something. I don't give a fuck how much time you get to do whatever the fuck you think you're gonna do. If I say I'm not doing it, I'm not fucking doing it. I said what the requirement is. I said what it is I expect. You haven't met my requirement, therefore I don't have to meet yours. So that's that portion. Yes, because that's very, very rude. That's very rude. I waited. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm hearing so much encouragement. I love you guys so much. Um, but ultimately, I personally don't do very well with people talking tough and doing the shady whatever that y'all do. It be bothering me. It do. It be bothering the hell out of me sometimes. The only reason why, let me tell y'all why it bothers me. Maybe this will help you. Because I know that you can get messed up behind doing stuff like that. And at the heart of it, I really don't want other people to get fucked up as bad as I've seen some people. All because yeah, they didn't want to shift their mindset. It's not like it's that difficult. All it takes is one little seed to be planted of inspiration, and throughout the day, what's coming up is one of the past readings I did with the journey of love, right? For a moment, joy, something that genuinely makes you fucking happy, right? And understanding that in the spiritual world, we're dealing spiritual world 4D aspect, not necessarily 3D all the time. You're dealing with the thoughts and experiences that a person would have had. Okay, yeah. So sometimes, especially if people are clearing out, or when people are clearing out their minds and stuff, I picked up on that a while ago. I've been saying it on my page, y'all. I will say it on mine, but typically, right, I don't talk about it too much, primarily because a lot of times people have a tendency to be overly judgmental, right? Um, for instance, yeah, I feel preempted to say every quote unquote red rum ain't the red rum that we may think it is. It's because of the way that the mind works, right? It be because of the way that the mind works. And when you're a foot soldier, you have to think of which paradigm it would be coming through. Because in short, a person who would be of military status, right, would have the same red rum count as a person who would have been on the streets. I hope that helps. So it's that part. But yeah, I'm trying to think if anything else coming. Yeah, because for right now, I'm repeating a lot of stuff that I had either posted already on Facebook or dealing with names. Some of the names that was coming to me, I know Mary was one of the names that was coming to me. Mary, and any derivative of that. Mary, Marie, Mariana, Miriam. Um, Let me see. Okay, I'm hearing Tanisha, Taylor, any derivative of that, Tyler. Something about ski. Okay, ski is given a nickname, but it could be talking about an activity that would have taken place with you all with it, or a plan to go skiing. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. And that's the other thing. I really don't like using names. I don't really like hearing people's names in my head. I don't. Primarily because of past experiences, right? I know for a fact, I absolutely positively know that there aren't a lot of readers who have had to endure and overcome what it is that I have. I know this for a fact because I've spoken to a lot of different readers in real life, in 3D. Okay, I'm not talking about the 4D aspect. I know that we're out there, right, and we can empathize with one another in that regard. But a lot of people, once they find out you're a reader in 3D, yeah, it's one of those. Okay, well, you should read me, and it's one of those. Okay, you do understand that if I respond to you the way that you just gave me that essence, I say what you have to do. If I respond to you and, well, you need to read me, well, bitch, maybe you need to shut up. You see how that sounds real horrible? That sounds real nasty when you coming off to people like that. And don't expect for everyone to interpret your language or go that deep within the language aspect for you because you're not making that effort within. That's what that's about. Okay. So let's kick into this reading, oh y'all. Let's kick into this reading. Of course, not our readings are gonna resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that is okay. It's okay. That's okay. All right. It simply means that this reading or that portion of the reading isn't for you. All right. But like I said, if it don't fit, don't force it. If it does, don't ignore it. All right. All right. So today is Thursday. For some people who are going to be practicing Kwanzaa year round, pay attention to whatever it is that you uh, see Kwanzaa year round as. If you know the seven principles of Kwanzaa, I typically talk about them because I know that that's one of the things that helped me with anxiety. If it gave having something to focus on throughout the day helped tremendously, right? So look up the seven principles of Kwanzaa, and that'll be something that'll be really helpful for you. Uh, and if you know the principles of Ma'at, right? That's definitely been a really huge guiding and driving force for me to help me stay grounded, even in the midst of a lot of chaos and turmoil that would have been going on either around me, in me, or just period, right? Uh, Remembering those fundamental principles, right? In the spiritual aspect and what it meant in totality. Also, hey to my service people, right? However it is that comes into place. My service people, I hope you guys are doing okay. All right. I'm hoping you guys are doing okay. First card out is the moon. So we got Pisces essence, right? Oh, pause. I do feel necessary to say this as well. Um, the moon for me does indicate Pisces, even though astronomically it represents Cancer, right? So pay attention to which way it is this is coming into place to within for you. But I'm going to read this as Pisces or things it is that would be hidden. Something that I feel necessary to say is just because it's what I'm getting from this is just because something is hidden doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't necessarily mean it's good either, but it doesn't necessarily don't automatically go to the bad part. Don't automatically go to the bad part. No, because something, okay, some of it that I'm getting from it is, yeah, about a person being assaulted. Yeah, just because a person, yeah, just because a person wouldn't tell you about certain stuff, it don't necessarily mean that what they're not telling you is a bad thing. Some things, right? One of the things that happens, especially with us dealing in and with trauma, right? Yeah, not everybody wants to because whenever you speak on that trauma, you're reliving the trauma. And believe it or not, you'll be amazed how many people, whenever you speak on certain traumas, it excites them. So yeah, it gives them that it gives them a particular amount of power. So just being mindful of that. Yeah, I'll talk about it if it comes out with any of this stuff. I'll talk about it if it comes out. You know what it is, you know what it ain't. Right? Yeah. So when you have those varying aspects, yeah, because even on my the hidden strategy, yeah, because even on my Facebook page, one of the things it was that happened was I was talking about a lot of those different traumas to let people know that they're not alone in those situations. But what it ultimately did was her say whatever you have to. Okay, thank you for the reassurance. When you talk about certain traumatic events, a lot of people think that it's okay for them to make you reenact that traumatic event. So no, it's not okay for you to make me reenact this traumatic event to any capacity. And you'll get some people who even get mad because they can't catch your ass up like that before again. They may have caught you up in your feelings and emotions in it beforehand, but they can't do it to you now. That's because it's not even necessarily only about the healing aspect or the healing mechanism, but also with us, being who we are, right? Being who we are and being able to speak things into existence. They will want you to say certain things so that they can make it happen. There's some people who want you to speak on shit just so you can make it happen to you. So oh no, I learned that about a good 4 or 5 years ago when I noticed, especially in my city, uh, whenever I would shift, say for instance, Queen of Wands or King of Wands, from being a shooter, a person who's shooting somebody, to it being like fireworks or a person smoking, to give those identifiers, it made things so much. Yeah, it calmed down a whole bunch of shit. Is what I'll say. So just being mindful of that. Yeah, and as readers, please make sure you're clearing yourselves out and healing yourself. When you are with them being a reader, this is a lot of stuff to kind of come out right now. But but with them being a reader, it is important for you to really sit with yourself. As a reader, you have a responsibility and a duty before you can give a reading to anyone else to ensure that you have healed and dealt with your soul searching to some extent before that day begins. If you don't do that, then don't call yourself a reader. If you're just doing the shit for the glitz and glory and glamour and all that other shit, let me tell you, you are in this business for the wrong reasons because it's yes, it takes a while before you get to the glitz and glory and glamour and all this other shit. You get a lot of spiritual missions and spiritual assignments, right? One of the things that I used to do on my page was show how tarot would manifest, right? Different ways that you can make tarot manifest for you to shift the essence, especially if you are a person who is working out of the capacity of trying to change who you how you think and who you are, right? So just being mindful of that. All right, so it would be hidden in the strategy, sneakiness. Another name that would come up would be Robert, Robin, Rob, Roberto. Okay, I was gonna say Roberto, and that's what came out, and then the star came out. So we got the moon and the star. So Uranus, essence, the strategy of Uranus, or the star of healing, or the strategy to the emotions to heal within one holding on. I just heard go ahead and say, "Oh, oh, that is so sweet." No, and then justice came out. Oh, damn it! You know I like him already. Shit, clutching in the middle of my damn read. My bad, y'all. Anyway, anyway, um, and then it being balanced, right? Being balanced and power and adjustment within one holding on to justice. But no, ultimately, what it's giving, right? Okay. Ultimately, what it's giving is this is a lot of major arcana shit, though, y'all. So on the business aspect, this is gonna be talking about some of the different strategies it is that would have come into place for the past 4 years, right? Within there being balance and Libra. The signs we have out technically would be Pisces and Cancer. I'm gonna put a pin in it, but Pisces and Cancer, Aquarius. This is really giving a lot of Cancer essence. Just hold on, I'm gonna tell you why in a second. But Uranus, the air, AIR of Venus, Libra, or the atmosphere of oh, and that's the other thing. No, because when you break down each planet, that's what it's giving. When you break down each planet, when you have the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the hemisphere, all that, right? The breakdown of that. So it's gonna be some of that shit that's gonna be coming into place with that too. But one of the things it is that comes into place with this, and we got Libra, and then we have some things going on with with different third party situations. I knew Cancer essence was coming through, y'all. Okay, so we got some fast moving essence that'll come into place with it, right? Yeah, because here's the deal that comes into place with Cancer essence. A lot of people have a tendency to. It's about what it is you put attention into and what you nurture, right? You'll get. I heard, and there being discrimination between certain exactly like you'll ensure you'll be amazed how many people be like, oh, this person is a Cancer, you're a Cancer, so that means you feel deeply. And then they'll be like, oh, well, you're a Taurus, so that means you're stubborn. Okay, so me personally, speaking from what I know, because I've been discriminated against in every regard, it's one of those, okay, so you mean to tell me I don't have feelings because I'm a Taurus? And whenever I have feelings, that automatically means that I'm a Cancer. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, because the same shit happens with any other fucking sign. With any other sign. It's one of those, oh, you real loud, you real loud or you real boisterous, so that means you're a Leo. And it's one of those, no, bitch, I'm a Virgo. You get what I'm saying? It's one of those, oh, that's not acceptable for that type of energy to. No, stop. Y'all doing too fucking much, okay? Because when you break down what Virgo essence is, Virgo is it's the ages between 18 and 35. You're supposed to be able to speak your mind and all this other stuff. But also with Leo, right? It's the same situation that comes into place with Leo essence. That's the age right after, or right when you start learning how to utilize your voice, right? Same thing that comes into place with Cancer. You feel a whole lot at that age. But even with Taurus, a lot of people make this mistake even in the Taurian aspect of even with on the zodiac aspect of the I have, right? Well, you have to feel like you have it. Weird ass people. Right, that's the whole faith aspect and faith, knowing, commitments, all of this. Now, some of the things it is that I am seeing going on with these cards that's been come out, right, is going to be in regards to there being a balance of being a star, holding on, and then there being the balance that comes into place with, on one hand, it being for 4 years, and on the other hand, being a star. Some of it's going to be about 4 years. Some of it's going to be about holding on. Some of it's going to be in regards to uh, work. Some of it's work. Some of it's going to be about home life. Some of it's going to be about realistically overworking. We always talk about that whenever we hear and see 444. It's one of those, oh, we're protected, but it also could indicate that you would be working too much or you'd be doing too much, right? I heard you've been studying this stuff for a really long time, for a while. Yeah, I have been studying it for a while. I don't have very much choice but to study it because the moment I feel confused, 37, when I said that, the moment I feel confused, I was like, oh, hell no, nah, nope, let me go look this up. Let me look some stuff up real quick because I refuse. I refuse. My free will choice won't allow for me to remain to remain incapacitated or confused or something in some shape, form, or fashion. Like, nope, I'll look it up. Yeah, because, oh, and some of this other stuff is, it's going to be about the library law. I'm Yeah, Supreme Court justices is certainly something that's going to come into place with this, and some of the shit it is that will happen with being a fourth, within it being the Fourth Amendment. What I'm getting from this is that a lot of, yeah, fourth, it'll be okay. Okay, hold on, because this is at the top. This is at the federal level that this shit will be talking about. Okay, yeah, you can apply it to state and even city. You can apply it to all of them, right? But you know where this fits for you, right? Because it has the Bill of Rights has a trickle down effect, and it'll be like the seventh line for some seventh line, seventh word. Yeah, because verbiage is everything, especially when you're talking about Libra essence, right? Verbiage is everything, right? But ultimately, right, with these three cards that came out as an influence, right? Influence, yeah, I say influence. For others, it'll look like crossing, right? But as an influence, it'll be peace, and third party, two of swords, three of cups, chariot. This is something that's off to the side though. And it's giving false balance. No, false balance, not imbalance. A false balance. one of the things that's really coming to me a lot right now was because we're talking, there was a lawyer, and the difference between being a star, or for instance, yeah, like being a celebrity lawyer versus being the lawyer of a celebrity. That's different. I hope that helps you. Okay, I'm hoping I'm hoping to help some too. Okay, yeah, because thank y'all for sitting with me. Is ultimately what I'm gonna say to this, because this looks like it's gonna give, yeah, because it's got some medical connotations that come into place with this too. But the Fourth Amendment, right, is one of those situations that not only verbiage is everything, but when you are in a particular place and space, right? And over the course of 4 years, it's going to be about how it is that is interpreted for there being this whole false balancing of situations. For instance, it's a false balance, because in case you don't know, my ethnicity is I'm a colored woman, because I feel like that somebody needs to hear that. I am, yeah. I learned my ethnicity. I have a whole lot. I have African American. I have Chickasaw, uh, Indigenous, Native. I have Irish. I have Scottish. I have German. I have Japanese. I have Italian. I got all them shits. You heard me? I got all them shits all up and through me, right? So with me having all of that going on, right? But my skin is darker complected, right? Within those being a part of the dynamics and diasporas, it'll be about the passing portion. It would be imbalance, IMBALANCED, for one to say, okay, you all have been out of slavery, right, for 150, probably about 175 years now. Don't quote me on it, okay? 475 years or so, right? But you were in bondage completely, totally for 400 years. That's imbalance. That's imbalance, that's out of balance. And that's what causes for there to be the false balancing, right? It's one of those, well, you should be able to do this by now. It's one of those, bitch, no, they shouldn't. Ultimately, is what that boils down to. Now, as it pertains to the law, when you have certain laws like that still on the books, yeah, people can utilize them for however they want to. And since it will be applied to everyone now, and it wouldn't matter, yeah, that's the problem. Some people, obviously, some implications. Some people must be getting some implications and shit, because they was like, oh no, that only applies to, for lack of a better phrase, and I'm gonna be nice about it. That only applies to the Negroes. No, it does not. It applies to you too, right? I'm not gonna go into that tangent about the original man and all this other stuff. I refuse to do that, because is Lord, are these people on here? Have they been watching? They gotta been watching. I know they watching. I know they watching, because I was the one that was instructing them and helping them with building community services and shit like that, and they never gave me credit for it, and they treated me like crap the entirety of the time, and then wanted to play with my damn emotions and play games with my mind like that shit was okay and like it was cool. So of course they would be watching. Of course they want help. Of course they want instruction. My name ain't on none of them charters though. I will certainly say that. And I didn't get no respect behind it. It took for me to have to not talk to those people for a really long time before they got the point, okay, maybe we fucked up. Yeah. After I told them for years, I'm not going there. We are not going there. In short, what that tangent realistically symbolizes is, and it was at 44:11. What that tangent realistically symbolizes is how ineffective leadership can be when they do not pay attention to their constituents. To close that portion out and then shift over to the medical portion, what I would say is, if you've ever watched V for Vendetta, that is a really, really, really good uh, movie to pay attention to, because organizationally, you all would behave in that fact. And Any leader should be more afraid of the people they're governing opposed to the people that are being governed being afraid. So that's that. Um, but to the medical aspect, what this will be talking about, it'll be talking about breast. Definitely will be talking about breast. It'll be talking about fingers. It'll be talking about hair. It'll be talking about hips. Yeah, somebody must have had what I'm getting from it is somebody did something with their finger or something. Then I heard chopped off or mutilated. With all this, I was just gonna say, no, this is given from like a diabetic situation. This ain't given, you know. um, some of the other stuff, right? Some of the other stuff in the lack of mathematics aspect, it'll be about if this is talking about yeah, med star shit like that, it's gonna be talking about some different names in it. And if there was a hip replacement situation, some shit it is that would have gone on during that hip replacement. And in regards to this whole peace, third party, or peace, abundance, and chariot, what is really given is, yeah, the indecision that comes into place with being led. Because 3 is a divine number. But the third party being victorious. But how a person would have been victorious or moving quickly. How fast someone is moving. How fast they would move. Uh, One of the things that's kind of coming to me, yeah, that's coming to me is, okay, y'all, yeah, because this is Mercury retrograde, y'all. One of the things it was that used to happen a whole lot, and a lot of people are finding difficulty in it because they may not know how to navigate through it. They would be used to knowing exactly where each person is. Yeah, like your ex, right? Exes, and that's the unfortunate portion that comes into place with social media. And if you're looking for a particular chain reaction, right, to come into place, if you're looking for a particular chain reaction, like say for instance, I talk about myself because I don't like talking about other people. One of the things that used to always happen right before I would be involved with someone that I would really, really like, it would be one particular ex that would always bring his ass around. And it's one of those, I cut the cords necessary so that ex can't come around me no more. Yeah, so looking for that particular sign ain't gonna happen. Part one, part two. When there is a lot of puppeting, right? Now, in regards to this, oh my goodness, what is it? How does this link into the medical aspect? That's a part of mental, it's mental abuse. Yeah. It's mental abuse. Always expecting for a particular person to deliver a message for you because you think that's going to make you get your way, opposed to you just saying whatever it is you need to say. Sometimes you have to say, yeah, I've learned. Sometimes you just have to say whatever the fuck you gotta say, and just let the shit get the shit out. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. Doesn't necessarily have to be good. You know, just close your eyes and say the shit, right? I know that may be difficult if you're not the type of person who is accustomed to, what they call it, public speaking. But whether you, and yeah, because this obviously, with the public speaking aspect, you really need to pay attention to even that, right? Because social media, to any and every capacity, is public speaking. It's public speaking, and all it takes is for a motherfucker to trace some shit back, and does and do. Our attorney generals, attorney general. I know y'all better not be clowning. I know y'all better not be in the governmental portion, because in the government portion, yeah, it'll be about the indecision with the third parties and police and policing. When you send certain people to an individual, that's you policing them, and that's against spiritual policy. I'm not gonna go there. I'm just saying because that don't make no sense. You ain't got to do all that. Some people just be doing too damn much. They really do. I be doing too much. So and then you have Princess of Cups, Prince of Cups, and Nine of Swords. Some of this stuff is going to be in regards to the friendships that would have come via an apology in a discussion within asking for assistance. You'll be amazed. You want to know what it is? If you don't let a person know that they would have hurt your feelings, it takes them a really long time to understand it, right? Of how. But if you are a communicative person, like for instance, all of these times that are showing have different ways to communicate what it is that they feeling and how it is that they feeling it. I.e., we have two reactionary signs showing. We got Cancer showing and we got Libra showing, right? It will come as a reaction to whatever the situation is or will be going on. Please make sure you check your own placements. Okay? Check your placements. Check your placements. Because what has a tendency to happen a lot is as a reaction in the Cancer essence, yeah, this isn't only for the love. I'm still in the health portion. Because in the health aspect, if you are dealing with, say for instance, with what's showing a person would have had, I just heard 3 generations of mastectomies. Okay, that will make you more high risk, right? It will make you more high risk, but also pay attention to when it comes to that particular disease. It don't matter where it manifests in your body. If you know what it means in your body, it would tell you what experience to link it back to so that you can help cure it and what'll be the best for you. Yeah, because radiation therapy ain't gonna help with every fucking thing. Oh my goodness, right? It take your hair out. It make you feel. It make you feel worse. God, yeah, I feel like saying it in my Medea voice. You couldn't have asked for worse. If that's what you're dealing with. Now, on the other hand, right, with this policing aspect, it'll be about okay. Is that something that's big everywhere then? Because what is given, what I'm saying is the co-ops. That's a company and corporation. That's not an actual police force. What the fuck are y'all doing? Oh my God. That's that portion. The other portion of it is changing, shifting and changing since we're talking about the police. Yeah, because that'll be talking about in regards to this, it'll be talking about the discussions that were supposed to have been had with transformative and restorative justice. And yeah, in restorative justice, let me go ahead and put this out here. Yeah, me having to sit and listen to what everybody would have said and did what they did, you got me fucked up. The devil is a lie. That ain't devil. Partially, that would be devil essence in regards to an ambition to get what you want. Obviously, you don't want it because you had the opportunity for it already. Is what I will say in regards to that. Just the same that comes into place with there being peace, right? The other portion of this that's coming into place as we're shifting over to the romantic aspect, right? The ulterior motives. Yes, the ulterior motives that come into place with asking for assistance or over the course of 5 years and or shifting one's stability within there being the moon, futility, the star, power, and adjustment, right? Over on this left side, right? What I'm seeing, it would be about Pisces. How Pisces essence would have had a strategy for Aquarius for 4 years. And the balance that would have come into place would have been Aquarius for 4 years, coming off as Libra essence, being the balance or the justice. Yeah, if we talking about this in a romantic aspect, yeah, so a person wouldn't be by themselves or wouldn't be alone. Boy, girl, fuck you. Yeah, I don't like the way that looks at all because that Seven of Swords makes this look really annoying. It looks really bad. Then, in regards to the Chariot aspect over here on this, uh, having peace with this third party rushing in, right? Or cutting the third party, being victorious, right? Yeah, cutting out the extra, right? Now, that's one way to look at this. The other portion of this is at the highest foundation of it, right? It'll be about God pouring into two people. Now, that, yeah, in the spiritual aspect, that be where some people be mixing and matching and messing stuff up and all this other stuff, right? Because when you look at it from the other perspective, when you're dealing with one person who views and understands duality, even in the spiritual aspect, and it's one of those, no, you gotta cut one of those out. It's one of those, no, you need to mind your business because this is what's gotten me through my entire fucking life. This is what all my studies have shown. Maybe you need to study the same things I study. You could come up to your own conclusions. In short, in the romantic aspect, it'd be about that agree to disagree. And in the romantic aspect and the business aspect and the medical aspect, you can agree to disagree. That is not a cop out. I don't care what people say. Because some people who feel like, oh, you can't agree to disagree, it means that they're very combative. Nobody feels like fighting all the damn time. Especially with these last three cards that came out with being friends. Why would you fight your friends? That don't make sense. You fighting your friends is the equivalent of what you would do to an enemy. Come on now. I'm gonna need y'all to get y'all shit together. No, because what I'm seeing is like a person getting jumped. And because they got jumped, now all of a sudden everybody want to be cool with them. It's one of those, no, you know, that's not how you do that shit. Y'all are fucking weird for that. I said that before I started going out so much. I promise you. Her say what you have to. I used to talk to my sister about that a lot. I did. Even back then. It was like, these motherfuckers is weird. Why are they doing all this? And then I finally asked others, okay, why do y'all behave in this manner? I was just trying to figure this shit out. I wasn't trying to be judgmental. I was just trying to get a better under and understanding of why they would interact with one another in that facet when it was more than enough for everyone. I don't give a damn energy, essence, vampires, or whatever. It's more than enough for everybody. And you can't proclaim, right? I just heard they were out of alignment. They were hella out of alignment. That is so out of alignment. But what was coming to me was there was a prosecutor, right, who she gave she gave a morale party. Now, the problem that comes into place with this was it's always about the money and the funds. Let me ask this question is to you on all of these different aspects. Where if you're paying a person to do something and if you pay a prosecutor their salary and they take their salary and they host something for morale. I just heard thank you. You're welcome. And they host a party for or a celebration to boost company morale. That is not the equivalent of them utilizing the funds from the city. It was issued to them. That means it no longer belongs to the city. Y'all don't even know. Ultimately, what I'm getting from this is you motherfuckers don't even know how to follow money. And y'all can't, and you greedy? I don't think you greedy for real. I don't. I don't. I don't. Because a lot of stuff I've been seeing, it's just been fucking ridiculous. But in any event, Let me get back to this. Ultimately, in the friendship of an apology in a discussion, right? Um, and also the offers of intimacy in a discussion. One of the things it is that kind of comes into place with the offer of intimacy, right? Go look the word up, okay? Go look intimacy up. I think it's safe for me to play music right now. Um, I'll sit with spirit a little bit more before I say something, or before I do that. But talk about that for a minute. The music has its own. The music realistically it identifies quite a few different things, but it's identifying quite a few different things for groups of people. That's part one. Part two, I want to say in the traditional sense of blasphemous, but I'm not gonna go there. What I will say is it's bullshit, right? To indicate in 3D, right? I watch you, I participate, I look at you, I look onto you, but when I personally, as an individual, manifest, show myself to you, you act fucking clueless. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. I don't give a fuck what somebody else told you. That is not being intuitive to any capacity, especially when you know you are dealing with a highly intuitive person. I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about people in general. Now, this shifts back over to the medical portion, right? A lot of people who have what constitutes as mental instabilities, that's because they're highly sensitive individuals. And I don't mean emotionally, I mean they take in and process information in a different shape, form, and fashion. Same thing goes into place when you find your niche, right? Like for lawyers, yeah, they find their niche in either environmental law or in uh, marketing law or in what's another housing law. You know, they find what they're good at. It's the same situation that comes into place with a person being intuitive or knowledgeable in that regard. So, with all of these different situations that's going on, what is given is cutting off the third party quickly. Uh, yeah, for some of these business situations, you may not be, I'm hearing business acquisition. Okay, so ain't that when the company swallows up another company? Being swallowed up. I'm sorry. I had a moment, y'all, my bad. But what it is to be swallowed up, right? In short, to be in for it to completely encompass another one, right? Within me even saying that, pay attention to the direction you're going in, especially when asking for assistance and asking for help. Yeah, because what's coming under it is Queen of Cups. If you're going, I just heard you would never go to your enemies to ask for help. That doesn't make sense to do that. But here, there lies the conundrum with what it is that's being shown. And I'm finna shift over to this White Sage Tarot. Uh, you need to pay attention to the process of what creates the atmosphere for the word enemy. Because not asking a person for help doesn't automatically qualify them as an enemy, but it does qualify them as un, underqualified to assist you in whatever it is you got going on. So there's that. The other portion, yep, yep. Because what I'm getting from it is with the whole enemies aspect. Y'all need to sit with yourselves a whole lot more. Yeah, I would like for you all to sit with yourselves more before you. Yeah, because some people I know can just automatically, especially with the signs it is that are showing, they can fall into the intuitive portion and their heart be fucked up. Heart will be so fucked up. I will say, I did catch a piece of a podcast with LeBron James on it, and he said, he would fight tooth and nail for his wife Vanessa and his kids and his family. Okay, I'm going to repeat what I just said. I was skimming through and I saw a podcast with LeBron James on it, and he said he would fight tooth and nail for his wife, Vanessa, and his children and his family. I'll say it again in case you didn't catch it. In case you didn't catch it, I'm gonna throw it out there again. Because ultimately, one of the things that was coming to me a lot was about how people be catching feelings. It's cuffing season. They can't catch something that ain't been thrown. So I'm going to throw it out there again. I was watching a podcast. Had LeBron James on it. And he said he would fight. I heard you not married. I am not. I am not. Not in 3D. And in 5D, that shit is up for grabs. It be feeling like it's up for grabs with some of the shit I be hearing. I be like, oh my God, what the hell? Let me just do what I've been doing because shit's been sounding a lot better. I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cool. So I said, oh yeah, you want to know what I noticed? So in regards to that, with the spiritual marriages, since we are gonna talk, since we spoke of marriages, in the spiritual marriages, when you disrespect them in 3D by going out and having all these different third parties and all this other shit, if you feel like this your husband, this your wife in spirit, and you start a relationship, a romantic relationship that could, yeah, if you start courting or dating a whole bunch of people in 3D, you disrespecting the spiritual marriage, which would be the violation that a lot of people I'm thinking they not really picking up on. And sure, a lot of you motherfuckers don't need to be spiritual. Y'all didn't signed up for some shit and y'all done got fucked up because you don't even recognize what you committed yourself to. So, there's that. In any event, happiness, page of wands of okay, so some of this stuff is gonna be about some reports, some bad reports, bad report, right? Bad reports. Some of this other stuff it is that'll come into place with this. Yeah, because this fell in regards to the friendship aspect. What it's giving is the I'm sorry to report. And how a person was clearing out how a person would only collect the bad. They would never see the good. I'm gonna go ahead and say this as a reaction. As a reaction. Okay, I'm blushing right now. Thanks. Um, for every bad thing that would have gone on, if there's a good thing, then that's kind of like a plateau situation, right? But if it's 12 bad things and only one good fucking thing, come on now. No, I'll give you an instance. Since we're talking about dating and it feels like this is some lower functioning shit that will be going on. If you've dated a male who, again, I'll use myself as an example. You notice he personally does not ever spend money on you. He gets everybody else to. That's not a good thing. That does not mean he's resourceful. Part one. Part two. That's her. Thank you. You're welcome. Another thing, right? If within him celebrating you, or within you celebrating her, however it goes, her that be that scam shit. It do be that scam shit. But just hold on. Um, in regards to them celebrating you, that means they now feel entitled to take everything from you that you've accumulated on your own outside of their essence. Right? That is not the same thing. Y'all, yeah, that unequally yoked. That is unequally fucking yoked. For instance, with me, for a nice little amount of time, I didn't get my birthday celebrated, and this is something for you to pay attention to in relationships. If the male does not ever celebrate you on your day, you might not want to fuck with him. If the female doesn't celebrate you on their birthday or on your birthday, whatever, what have you, don't fuck with them. Just let that shit go. That's that narcissistic shit. Now what will be coming in regards to certain things, it'll be about what's coming in. Let's talk about the good portion of what's coming in. Right? You got some happiness coming in and some good news that will be coming in. Moving forward. Happiness and good news. Within asking for assistance, within asking for help. Or in the political arena. A lot of it is because it's the month of October, and go ahead, say what you have to. I would say it's because they old, but a lot of older people hold on to narratives, opinions, mindsets, and even thought processes that they know for a fact within their old age, their elder status, that they should have let go of. Because you don't want nobody to do it to you. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want it done to you when it was done to you, so you don't do it to somebody else. King of Wands. Okay. Ten of Pentacles. So the actions that come into place with not receiving an inheritance, not being a part of an inheritance, not receiving a paycheck, not having a paycheck. Right? And some of this is going to be about what would have happened 10 years ago. Yeah. And here's the deal. If you're not in that loss of time, right? The loss of time and all this other stuff, you'll be amazed how many people don't really lose time. They just, you get some people who are at that master manipulator level who be like, you know what? They depend on enough time has gone past, so things should be okay now. And it's one of those, no, things are not okay until you do what you're supposed to do. Now, in the discussion of what will be hidden, the discussion of hidden emotions, yeah, because it'll be about that's the whole strategy on what it is that's hidden. You know, yeah, over the course of 4 years, it'll be justice and balance and all this other shit. That's crazy. No, because with the incoming paychecks, incoming inheritances, all this stuff, right? Acting on the incoming inheritance, reparations, whatever, what have you. One of the things I'm going to go ahead and say, they just gave, I want to say like 20 billion to Argentina, giving over 100 billion. Okay, I'm not saying million. I'm saying billion. Y'all, do you know how much money that is? Do you know how long it's going to take for that shit to be paid off by the American people? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's entirely too fucking much. In short, what happens when you don't take care of home, the repercussions that comes when you don't take care of home and you take care of everybody else, right? I be guilty of that. I can say that, right? Because at some point or another, everyone's done it. Took care of everyone else, and then they didn't take care of themselves. Even in regards to preserving your essence, right? Giving out too much and not keeping enough for yourself, or waiting till you're completely depleted. These readings can be very depleting. Other readers will get it. Yeah, because you have to sift through so much. And if you only want the good messages, you got to sift through all of the icky, nasty ones in order for you to get the good ones. So, you know. Now, some of it'll be about, fuck it, I'll go ahead and say it. Abortions that would be hidden, discussions that would have been hidden, miscarriages that would have been hidden, especially if we're talking about miscarriages of justice. Yeah, locking motherfuckers up that shouldn't have been locked up, and then you have to balance it out by putting an actual person in. Lover girl. Oh, hey. A lot of those different situations. When you have all this stuff in the place, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. Some of the other stuff it is that'll come into place. Uh, with where it's positioned, the imbalances that'll come into fruition with those different discussions, what's hidden, and who knows who and who knows what, right? So, well, based out of just the way things come into place, right? With, I'll say with me in particular, I can recognize certain things that'll happen and will come into place with my community, with me being a service to the community. There were a lot of times, and this is what I mean by giving outside of your house more than you give into your house, right? I spent a lot of time. Now, true enough, I had my children with me when I was doing a lot of my community service. So please don't forget that. Let me go ahead and make sure I put that shit out there. I had my kids with me while I was doing the community service. So it wasn't as if that's not a known fact. In short, pay attention to those who have known. It's shit that this is shit that they know. This ain't shit that they don't know. This is some shit you knew. And while I close this out, I'll go ahead and say this. When you know that there are certain things that are going on, and you know you're a part of the problem and not a part of the solution, and you're involved with an individual who is a solution seeker, okay? That's important for you to either align yourself with it, being a part of the solution, or you'll automatically align yourself with being a part of the problem. Okay? In short, everyone who's ever encountered me knows I have children. They know I value my children. Period. And in a lot of respects, I feel like all children are my children based out of the responsibility that was given to me. Right? It's a part, some of it's a part about being the oldest, right? Others, it's a part about, just being responsible, because not all eldest children are responsible like this, right? But when in good conscience, right? Yeah, so with them making these decisions, in good conscience, please understand. Please, 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 please. I cannot, in good conscience, associate with certain people knowing that I have children and that my children would be affected by it to no capacity. If I've had to get a restraining order on you in the physical or in 5D, meaning I will not talk to you because I feel like you're an op. I personally feel that way. That automatically lets you know, okay, hold on, it's some problems. Okay, yeah, it's some problems. In short, I won't say nothing on either one of my lives that I won't say to a person in real life, and that typically be the problem. That's part of the reason why I got excommunicated. I don't give a fuck because I'm still human and I still have to, do what I need to do. So to summarize, the completion of the cycle. To summarize, right? You cannot say that you are a handler to any capacity if you are not providing for the person you're supposedly, quote unquote, handling. If you don't have a contract with them, having a contract in the ethers is something completely different than having a contract in 3D, because if you have a contract in the ethers, then it manifests in 3D. I personally, now I've had people from YouTube reach out to me before, but at the time that the people from YouTube reached out to me, yeah, I guess this will be part of what I didn't get the opportunity to speak on in the last reading. It was at the same time that it was a whole bunch of scammers and shit going on from Nigeria. It was a whole bunch of this shit going on, and it was one of those, you know what, I don't trust this shit, and I don't feel like going down a rabbit hole in it. Let me just do what I need to do in 3D and make this shit happen. So it's that part. Universe. And what it is, yeah, and if you're the type of person that says the universe. So the universe will be pouring into two people. That is a kind of a universe. Oh, and universal. Okay. Yeah, if that's in the business aspect, that could be talking about universal music, universal pictures. Yeah, that's the whole subsidiary situation that could be coming up in different laws and how those laws would be affected. Oh, no, because what I'm thinking is how some of the laws would counteract what federal law is, because it's a different division. Oh my goodness, what is going on, y'all? Are y'all okay? I need y'all to be okay. Go sit with yourselves for a little bit. I have to go get me something to eat. I didn't eat before I got on here, but I did. I was able to go walk around. But I didn't get the opportunity to nourish myself. I'm going to do that now. I will talk to you all later. Huh. And right when I say that, that'll be the reconciliation. Yeah, I do need to eat. I don't want to be hangry because I'm not hangry yet. I'm almost there though. I'm almost there. But the incoming reconciliations or the incoming endings, the endings that'll come into place. Nah, I saw Megan Thee Stallion's post, and then the burdens. Yeah, I saw Megan Thee Stallion's post. So as I close, in the business aspects, you need to pay attention to what's hidden in the bylaws, and that will also be in accordance with what will be going on with, yeah, because what is given is the whole, I typically associate it with like Skull and Bones, not necessarily just secret societies or things of that nature, but the rituals and shit it is that they would have partook in. Some of them represent death, burial, resurrection situation. You're supposed to come out a new person, right? And that's pretty much the same identification. Okay, some shit's gonna be manifested. And some things that wouldn't have been communicated. But typically in those varying functions and aspects, it's intended for you to be a new person and to be more open to thinking about other facets of other situations. right? And some of the thoughts it is that we would have been having would have thoughts. Yeah, some of the thoughts and some of the shit would have been because a person would have been going through an initiation ceremony and ritual. That's that portion. And last but not least, in the love department, right? Yeah, within the whole spiritual marriages, uh, spiritual marriages are not. Go ahead and say what you have to. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I will. Um, if there was an intent to marry a person on a spiritual aspect and you intentionally make them wait or would intentionally have made them wait, yeah, making a motherfucker wait for 10 years, get the fuck out of here. No, you purposely doing that shit. I'll give an explanation, or not an explanation, an example. Uh, while I do enter under overstand, right? The difficulty that can come with overcoming different addictions and codependency, right? I understand those things. I understand those things, right? Because I personally have had to struggle with, for real, being addicted to thinking negatively, right? For a really long time, I'm pulling into that mindset because that typically, and anger management. I had to, yeah, I had to own up to the fact that I was addicted to being angry because that's what would get whatever done, right? That's the reason why I started practicing, or I started, yeah, fuck it. I'm not necessarily saying I'm Buddhist. I'm spiritual. I just know how to meditate like a Buddhist, if that makes sense. I hope the Dharma's okay. I'm sorry, my bad, y'all. But ultimately, in the situation of, first and foremost, going to or being incarcerated, ladies and gentlemen, because you didn't want to take a different route, right? And then it being a part of the karma. Her, can you just tell me what happened? Okay. Why you gotta say it like? All right. Person gets arrested. Okay. After person gets arrested, person puts your information down as husband wife, right? They and it's not researched whether that person is actually husband or wife. Now the reason why it's not researched is because common law marriages and practices. Okay, so it's that. In any event, within person reaching out to you, right? They put married, right, and call you as the individual, right? I just heard, oh yeah, and call you. Didn't necessarily put the other person's name down or anything, but you're the one who shows up, right? Then lawyer gets involved. Basically, what a lot of people like to do is they incurred a lot of karma because what they would do is wouldn't pay their lawyer, spiritual and otherwise. So in any event, um, after they get arrested, they reach out to you. You advocate for them. Within advocating for them, right? They get out. That means now they are your responsibility because you are seen by the state as the more responsible party, right? And can ensure that, yeah, you're trusted to ensure that this person doesn't, go off the deep end, do a whole bunch of weird shit, right? You, as the person being the point of contact, you ensure that they go to their meetings, get back and forth to work. And because they don't like that you are structuring them for success, they decide, right? Yes, to leave you, and so that they can go back to their old way of doing things because they don't like the structure and they do like the chase. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I can walk really fast, but I got bad ankles and bad knees. I ain't chasing no motherfucking body. You understand me? I like the chase chair, but I do not like to chase people. I'm not gonna chase you down and hunt you down and do shit that you're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I had to learn to regulate my own self. So, you're gonna have to learn how to regulate your own self. But yeah, ultimately what ended up happening after that, uh person leaves your space, right? Within a person leaving your space, they go back to their familial space, right? And within them going back to their familial space, they have a lot more, as they constituted, freedom to do whatever they want, right? Yeah, and the only way that they get their shit together is if they get locked up first. In short, that's a horrible, vicious cycle, right? That doesn't necessarily only constitute as institutionalization, but some people honestly use it as a vacation time. So, career criminals. Yeah, that'd be the career criminal. Career criminals and career criminology aspects, right? So it's that. Ultimately, yeah, because what ended up happening after the fact was, I ended up taking or I ended up taking their belongings to their family's house. That's where you gonna be at. You need your shit where you are. You don't need your shit at my spot. You don't be here enough. No, okay, let's think about this seriously, y'all. For real. If you leaving your belongings as someone else's space, like all your clothes, socks, that means it's either one or two things going on. Number one, right, is what people want you to believe. You're not washing your ass. You ain't washing your ass. You ain't doing, you just in the same motherfucking clothes. The other portion of it is you obviously have more stability elsewhere. So, common sense, okay, if you got more stability in this space and you can still reach whatever heights you need to in that space, then that's where you need to go to. That's where you need to go. That's the space that you need to be in. Wherever, yeah, because we all know, and that be the conflict. Now, what I will say that has a tendency to happen with the spiritual men, this is where the spiritual narcissism and the empathic abuse comes into place. What they'll do is leave their belongings in your home because of the saying and superstition of, you won't be able to you won't be able to get rid of me because I haven't moved my things from your space. In that regard, that's a very ambitious notion to attempt to keep hold to a person. The same thing happens with having children. It be the same thing. It do. So y'all I'm hoping everybody's doing okay. I really am. A lot of stuff has to be taken as a case by case basis. But what I personally have learned from varying situations is, make your mind up and stay with it. What I will say is the only quote unquote indecisive card that came out would have been Pisces, and that would have been emotional indecision. Just because a person isn't quote unquote emotionally stable in a situation doesn't mean, it doesn't necessarily always mean that they haven't made their mind up yet. They very well could have made their mind up. I wonder what this does. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, I'm playing on my thing too, y'all. But just because a person is emotionally unstable, yeah, you gotta yeah, pay attention to what it is. And within emotional stability, depending on how um and depending on how or what it is that they would even be wearing. It'd be a lot of that stuff, y'all. But ultimately, in that particular situation, for me in my past, I was like, "Nah, you got me fucked up, dog." And I mean it for any person. It's like, no, sir, no, sir, no, ma'am. We are too damn old and we are too damn grown, and I refuse to do certain shit over again. You had your yeah when a person had a chance, whoever it is, when you done, you done. That was one of the things that my mama used to say a whole lot, and that's why I've taken that with me and applied it to varying aspects. When you've actually had enough, can't nobody tell you when your enough is. One person's enough may be the first sign of disrespect. Another person's enough may be having a kid with them, and then and then the disrespect comes, and it's like, you know what, fuck it. But that's not up to you to determine what that person's enough is or should be, because you don't know what their cycles they're completing. You don't know what lessons it is that they're supposed to be learning. You could speculate what lessons it is that they're supposed to be learning, but you don't know what they're supposed to be learning for real. And then you don't know what else is hidden in the shadows with that person. Like, period. So, just paying all those things some attention, y'all, okay? So hopefully it helps you guys out just a little bit. Gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that could be going on. I just heard something about impeaching Trump. Let me be honest with you. I didn't want him in office to begin with because I knew he was going to make a lot of poor decisions that the American people would have to pay for. And I personally didn't want us to have to go through any of this shit it is that was going on, because I did see a lot of things all the way back in 2018. Yeah, I saw and I was speaking about a lot of stuff then, but because of the males, right, that call themselves prominent, I don't look at them that way because they call themselves trying to beat up on a girl energetically and got mad because they can't whoop my ass energetically. But that's not there nor there. Um, they felt that it was riding the fence because they didn't want to open their mind more. And that's going to always and forever be the issue. So, yeah, I'm hoping everybody's doing okay. What I will say, though, in regards to this, Monty, make sure you check on your shadow boxing. The ring. The actual ring. Yeah, I put it in an email, but I don't know if you read it. He's a busy person. Um, yeah. So make sure you guys pay attention to your community efforts. Understand if you've reached compassion capacity, it's okay for you to be like, you know what, no, I just can't do it today. Especially if you are of service to others. And as far as like friendsgivings and all that other stuff, I've attended some friendsgivings that were not lucrative and they were lying a whole lot. Like the whole thing was a lie. In essence, meaning the way it was that they were portraying themselves and things of that nature. So I'm not big on those. And to be honest with you, if you're one of those individuals who've ever truly spent, holidays alone, you have a different perspective than everyone. So don't take my word for it, y'all. I'm the worst person to ask about that kind of stuff. But what I can say is, are we gonna start seeing the memes for beans, greens, potatoes, hog, hog maws, chitlins? I ain't had no good chitlins in so long. I used to really enjoy those. I really did. Haven't had any in a while. But, stuffing, dressing, all that good stuff. Make sure y'all start buying. Well, I should tell y'all to start buying that shit now, considering they might close the stores. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? I don't know. But hopefully it helps you guys out just a little bit. Give you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on. If you like to schedule your own personal touch and clarity for your life, right? You're more than welcome to do so at Lightwork and Lightwork LLC at gmail.com. All right. Oh, excuse me. Cause see, remember, light work. It ain't light work. It is not light work. No. Whoa. Hold on. Yeah, a lot of people do fuck it up. If it's not yours personally, you know, cause it's always you always it's like a yeah you. And I'm waiting to see, you know, what else if I get another assignment or not. Obviously, I got time. Obviously, oh, it may not be a long one, but you know, we'll see. And I'm saying will, WE'll, because I know somebody, yeah, somebody from the past gonna be like, oh, we can pull her through with that comedian. Nope, I will not set up. Nope, y'all not gonna set people up for y'all fuckery and fuck shit. Y'all better fix y'all lives. Get your shit together. All right, and then that way you can stay light while you work. I'll turn this thing off. There you go.